Good morning, and this is page 122, 5-60 slide. You got 6.5 inches from this corner to this corner. We got 3.5 from this corner to this corner. This little section here is worth 3/4 of an inch. This here to here, this little slot here is 2 inches. Going from here to this inside slot, you got 1/2 inch. From the bottom to the top is 1 3/4 inch. This cutout slot here is 1/2 inch deep. You got 1 3/8 from this end of this corner to the center of this hole, 3 3/4 from this hole to this hole, and each of these holes are 1 inch diameter, and there's 2 holes here. So let's go to the drawing. First thing we're going to do is going to block out 6.5 by 1 3/4. All right, remember we're going to do our construction lines to set our 0 point. Put our ortho back on. And then hit escape. I hit escape too early because I did not set my other construction line there. Now I'm going to hit escape. What I'm going to do is pan over to get my 0, 0 a little closer to my eye. What I'm going to do, remind myself of the distance here, 6.5 by 1 3/4. 1.75 straight up, same as 1 3/4. 6.5, 6.5, 1.75 coming straight back down. 6.5 back to the corner here. We can go to our drawing, and I can set that line. I'll set that line here 1/2 inch up, give me that indication of where that hidden line is going to be on the bottom, on in here. I can drop this line from the top down 1/2 inch, and that's to do that first. Zoom in a little bit. Since that line is a full construction line, no, it's not. It's a regular line. I'm going to drop it up. I'm going to offset it 0.5 and lock it in right there. We're going to do the same thing here. And other than my holes, showing my holes coming through in this side, we're pretty much done with this view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to reset my offset to 2 inches and then go back to my drawing example. And I know this offset here should be 3.5. We're on the right side view here. I'm going to set that to 3.5 inches. And I'm just going to cap that off. I'll zoom out a little bit because I'm right there on my. Now, one of the things I could do right here is actually take time and bring my construction line straight over from here. And then go in here, bring my construction line over from this bottom part too. And then escape. Get back to my drawing example. I know each side is 3/4 of an inch, and the middle part is 2 inches. 3 1/4 and 2. I can actually go here and I can offset this line 3/4 of an inch, or 0.75. This way. I can offset this one on the inside 0.75. And then basically all I've got to do now is go back and block this in. But why am I going to do that when I can go ahead and do this first? I'll change that offset to 2 inches between my front view and my top view. My top view should be 3.5 inches wide. I know it's already 6.5 inches long. So I'm going to offset this 3.5. Back out. Go ahead and block that out there. Now, I know by looking at a drawing example, this edge here is sitting in 3/4 of an inch on both sides. So the easiest way to take care of that is offset that line 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to offset that 0.75. Set it over here. I'm going to offset this one 0.75. I'm going to have to go backwards because I set it on the wrong side. Type in 0.75. Now, you can get back over here to my drawing example. Now you notice how this line here is the same as this 3/4 inch line here. And talk about the which line will take precedence. The in this sense, you need to see that hidden line, but that object line will actually take precedence over that hidden line, but we'll still show both lines there. Because you got to see that channel going underneath there in that front view. You'll also see it in your front view and your top view. So let's go back to our drawing. We'll go ahead and block everything in. I need to get my holes centered up here too. So 1 3/8 and 3 3/4. So I'm going to come down from the left side corner on the top. I'm also going to zoom in a little bit to make it a little easier to see. Hit escape. So I'm coming over 1 3/8 or 1.375. Coming down, straight across. Get back. Come down 3 3/4 of an inch. .75. Straight down. Now, one of the things I can do, I know that's 3 3/4 of an inch, but I know right in the middle of that is 3.5, so I can go 1.75, and I'll set this line right here. I'll set that line 1.75, and it should set it right in the middle of my midpoints. And there it is. All right, so that's where that circle is going to be located at. And then my circle is actually going to be 1 inch diameter. So I can go ahead and set that hole. So 1, And I'm just going to draw that circle out. I could copy that if I wanted to. It's just as simple to draw it multiple times since I've got everything laid out. Now, the last thing I'm going to do on my construction lines is to create my through vision for my front view and my right side view. Now I know this is a 1/2 inch diameter, so I know that offset, I can offset that 0.5 to the left and to the right. Lock that in. I can offset this now 3 3/4 of an inch, 3.75, and lock it in right there. Click on that one, 1/2 inch. And now I got my thickness, my hole going all the way through, my center line going all the way through. Now, what I can do is come down here, select that line there. I'll set that 0.25 just to make it easier when I draw my center line. And right here, when I draw my center line, right here when I draw my center line, and right there when I draw my center line. Now, I'm going to go ahead and draw, I'm going to go ahead and sketch everything in. Basically, I'm just drawing everything that's supposed to be drawn in. Then come up here, block in your top view. Then your circles, type in 1. And again, I find it just as easy. I mean, I could copy it and move it and do whatever to it. I find it just as easy to draw it all over again. Then I'm going to change to my hidden line layer. And then I'm going to change to my center line layer. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy that line there, and that line right there. Go ahead and hit enter. I'm going to copy it. Set this as my base point. Set that as my base point. Hit escape. Now, the only difference in this, in my side view and my front view, is these, I don't need that line to go all down through there. On this side, you can't see that hole that can go all the way through there. So we can actually cut part of this line off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink that line up here. And scoop back over here. And this line right here, since it don't come out the bottom of that, it's going to come right there. And then there's one more hidden line I've got to put in here. It's showing that this recess in here goes all the way through. And then we can actually shorten this center line up here. And hit escape. Go up and turn our construction line off. Zoom to extents. Do our measurements on there. Just want to make sure my measurement, what my measurement was supposed to be before I measured it. Six and a half. And guess what? I went to the wrong layers here. I'm going to try to grab that and make that into a dimension line layer. There it goes. And guess what? I did it again. Changed my layers again. I'm going to go here. And try to chain my dimensions together. But sometimes that dimension gets a little bit crazy here. Especially when you have things popping up on your screen. And we know this is 1 1/4. We know this is a 1/2 inch. And we know your holes are 1 inch. Change to your diameter tool. And any questions about the drawing, we will